So this is Rob Kramar's Intelliversity. We're back here with the executive team of Access Medical. This is not a investment solicitation. This is not a offer to sell securities. It's a training video for entrepreneurs looking to find out what winning, successful entrepreneurs do differently than the ones that don't succeed. As we discussed in prior segments, Access Medical is now grown 100% a year for the last 3 years, reaching about $3 million in sales. And what I want to ask you this time is, tell us about a major point, we call a pivot point, where you ran into a barrier in the market that you couldn't penetrate with your strategy as it was. And what was the change you made?
Well, when we started, I remember Blaine gave me the intellectual property of how to work, how to do it. So I was out there working, and I had one of my first days, I received 18 referrals. I was on fire. I was all excited. I went and spent all the time, took everybody through the A to Z process. We get back into the office, I give my documentation. At the end of the day, we could only process 2 of those 18 clients. That was crazy frustrating. Number one, because I didn't understand the importance of funding. And then number 2, it was frustrating because I didn't have the ability to really provide the services I wanted to provide for that facility. So we started looking at the importance of contracts and how they could really change our stars. And it took some time because we didn't understand how serious it was to get those contracts. San Diego's the managed care contract capital of the world, and so there were so many, we were overwhelmed with what to do. You have this huge problem, but you don't know where you start to fix it. And we started looking into one small niche. We realized that would be not only quite profitable, but had a lot of access to clients. And so this private contract, we received a request to actually possibly become part of their member and work with their clients. And I remember when it came across, because I had been working and making phone calls, I had no idea who I was talking to. I was just running out there getting all sorts of business. And I went into Blaine and I said, look, here's this contract, and they're asking us to submit a proposal. I don't think this would take more than 24 hours. We could easily knock this out in one day. They're not asking for much. It's like a 2-page document. Let's just do it and get it over with. So they smile at me, and now after that, everything that I say they have to multiply by 10.
So we took that request for proposal, and we put together about a 200-page document that answered all of the different facets on our scope of service, the geographical area that we service. It went through our accrediting body, what are our terms with our manufacturers, how much inventory do we have. They wanted to see audited financials. For a brand new little company, doesn't want to fork out $40,000 to give audited financials. And so we saw it as literally an uphill battle. What Ben thought would take 2 days ended up taking us 6 weeks at about 30 hours a week, recruiting 2 other very intelligent people to the task force. And when our accountant told us it's impossible, you're too young, wait till you're bigger, wait till you've had more time, I refused and said, no, this is exactly where we need to go. And we did it. And we submitted that proposal, and about a month later, we were awarded the contract. And then about a week later, we met with the individual that reviewed our proposal. And he said, I've been in this industry for 25 years, and I have not seen a proposal written so well, except one, and that was the one that I wrote years ago. So, and he was truthful, and he was very talented. And then he came to us later and sat with us and said, here's the potential, here's how you do it, here's some ideas. And so it was a very influential problem that when we solved it right has led to our future. And where we came from, there wasn't much managed care. So we just thought we were gonna leave one state and come to another and just do what we did there. And we soon found out that if you wanna grow and really become something,
So just to be clear, the switch was from government-funded medical care to private insurance-funded medical care. And that's led to most of your success now going forward.
since this contract was awarded, we took this pedigree of success and just submitted it to many other private insurance companies.
Sure.
And we're awarded contract after contract. And now our dependency on federal and state funded wheelchairs is significantly less. And in today's industry, those who are dependent on federal and state are failing.
Interesting. So what was it like for you to working together at this pivot point? Were you afraid that Blaine wouldn't, take the time out to do the application or do it wrong? Did you have to press him to do it?
We didn't really understand. I mean, we didn't really understand what it was. We had worked, and I had sent other proposals over, but we didn't know what it was, and these were kind of small, little mom-and-pop insurance groups, basically. Really small niche, local area. And our specialty focuses on 1% of the population of this medical group. So, sure, we might get multiple contracts, but at the end of the day, the amount of business we received was limited. And with this one, I guess it was just meant to be. It was meant for us to make it happen, to solve that problem, because I don't know, unless you had something that came to you that stated, we have to make it happen on this one. Because this was the first real approach that we took to putting our head down.
The only problem that we encountered was Ben said, you guys should be done now. Get back out in the field, let's get some work going. And here I'm saying, you don't understand the complexity of it, and it has to be done right. And so that was, I think, where we may have butted heads a little bit, is give credit where credit is due. This requires quite a bit.
So going forward, when you guys run into a decision that both of you both had to agree to do this, right? If either one of you had said, I can't handle this, I can't do it, it wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
Operationally and in all other areas. Do you handle all the major decisions that way, that both of you, if you don't both agree, you stop and get to a point where you do agree? Or do you allow decisions to go forward where only one of you is behind it?
I think that so far at the size of our company, we've realized that proceeding forward without at least a partial buy-in from other members of the management team just slows the progress of your track and where you're going.
Okay.
So to some extent, yes, but there have been a couple of times where we've disagreed, and I've just said, I don't care, we're doing it. And then there's been a couple of times where he's done that and said, I don't care, you got to trust me on this one, we're doing it.
For the most part, though, we don't really have a big opinion stating that, oh man, this is what we have to do. We understand the complexity of what's happening, and I guess having the education, really knowing what you're doing, having that intelligence, helps you fire on both levels. At the same time, we both understand we both have an integral part in making sure that neither of us are lazy. So once again, it comes down to the trust factor, knowing that he's pushing his intellectual part, I'm pushing mine.
Okay, have you ever had a decision where you had to say to Ben, you have more information, so you decide?
Absolutely. Just recently, that decision was made on whether we were to retain an outside billing service or whether we were to bring it inside where we could handle it at greater detail. And Ben had been managing that outside service and watching the collections, and we still had some frustrations. And so we came in and shut the door and we talked about it, and Ben said, what do you want me to do? What should we do? And I looked right back at him and said, you make the call. And what'd you do?
Soon thereafter, I said, it's over. We're going solo. That's what we did. And last month, we had our best month of
Best
collections.
decision ever.
Best collections ever.
So where, in the few little time we have, so where do you see going from here as a company?
Well, right now, fortunately, we've been solicited by banks. There's a bank in Southern California that understands wheelchairs and medical business such as ours, and they've reached out to us. We showed them our financials, and they were very excited, and they asked us to submit more. We have a plan in place to be a regional player by 2014 and a national player by 2024. In the last 3 years, we went from 0 to 3 million in revenue. On our expansion plan, we'll be from 3 million to 15 in the next 3 years.
In conclusion, this amazing little company who's going national did this with virtually no equity financing whatsoever. They didn't have to sell stock. It was almost entirely debt financing through friends and family and some others, such as my fund, and then quickly into commercial bank financing. So those of you that think you have to sell stock, there are alternatives, and the key to the success of this company is the management team. They broke into a crowded market with a different way of approaching it, but without any unique technology, and dominate the market.